Greeting, guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of. I'm sorry, I just saw Andy's eye, it made me laugh.
Sorry, carry on.
No, we'll keep it. So welcome, guys, to a brand new episode of Redemption of the Rotten. I'm your host, MrYazMan300. I'm joining me once again, the two craziest boys from England, Mark and Andy. How are you doing, Mark?
Okay-ish. You?
No, I'm doing well. How about you, Andy?
Sweating my balls off, so good.
You know, I was about to use the C word. I was like, nah, I might gotta get cancelled. So I was like, I might not say it.
What, you're
Andy's
cute boys.
a cunt.
He said
We're trying to be subtle.
Oh, sorry, we just demonetized the video, haven't we?
I mean, if the first episode is getting I think the third views on my channel, maybe this one might get the second views. Oh, God, that was a fun time we had. Between that and talking about the C word and spending 20 minutes talking about bat nipples and butt cracks on Batman and Robin with Andy.
I mean, I can go with that in this movie, but we definitely get demonetized for that one.
Maybe that's why I got some dislikes for that video. The only video of that episode I got dislikes.
That was probably Andy.
It wasn't. I like all of your stuff.
Okay. Yeah, so. Which I'm actually surprised to see that the episode got, it's my least viewed episode of my podcast. Batman and Robin, I'm talking.
I mean, I wonder if it's just because it's so hated. It's like one of those movies. Like, why would we? They're more annoyed. Not that we talk what we said about it. Just more like, why would you put this in the world? We don't need more thing about this.
I think it's because it's just like Star Wars, the most talked about in the video. Because after seeing that the views that list people are listening to it, I was like, I might see cave the movies like Star Wars and the prequels and the sequel trilogy like it's for special occasion. And yes,
I'm ready. I am ready for us to do Star Wars.
God, I could knock.
When we do Last Jedi, I'm booking it off holiday, so I have nowhere to go, so I can be here for fucking hours. I just want to put that out there.
I'm already I told Joe and Madeline that I'll get you guys for Malignant, because do you know how much they are divided about this film. It's gonna be just like Andy, he's sitting there like spending 2 hours talking about how much he doesn't like the Last Jedi.
Yeah, it's just 2 hours would just be like the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. But like I said, for The Last Jedi, we'll talk about it one day.
It's like me and Scott Pilgrim.
Yes, but you're wrong about Scott Pilgrim. I'm right about Last Jedi.
You know what? After seeing you guys talk about it, because I really didn't want to put it on that list because it's not a divisive film, but I think you guys talk about it, like maybe I might do it to you guys as a gift for one day.
It's purely divisive between us two. That's literally it.
Well, no, it's Mark has an opinion, and everyone else has a very different opinion.
No one agrees with him.
Yeah. I still
haven't stand by my opinion, though. It's just
I still haven't seen
movie.
The film. I've seen most of Edgar Wright's movies, and my favorite film is still, what was it? The cop one. What was it called?
Hot Fuzz.
Yes, Hot Fuzz. That's actually my favorite. And I actually, did not like the words ends.
Yeah, that one sucks. That's like a really.
That's actually my least favorite.
I didn't mind the words end.
Yeah, mostly because the character was unlikable. With the exception of Nick Frost, he was the favorite.
Yeah.
Because,
I thought it was a cool movie.
Yeah. Did he?
I haven't seen Soho yet, though.
No, I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either. I think.
I heard people say
it's like it just. I'll have some opinions on that one as well.
Yeah, that's a very Mark will not enjoy this movie, but Matt Smith, so I have to watch it. I'm obligated.
Even Morbius.
Ah, fuck! I forgot his name. Right, yeah. Soho I will pay for like rent. Morbius I will wait until it's somewhere for free.
It's going to be on Disney Plus because they released Venom and the Sony Spider-Man films on Disney Plus.
No, I think
not here.
Spider-Man,
have got
because in my country I have Spider-Man 2, 3, Amazing Spider-Man 2, Homecoming, and Venom. Check if it's
on Disney Plus.
Yeah, check if it's actually they might be coming.
The Spider-Mans are, that's the old ones, but I don't think the new ones are. Again, I think that's Netflix have got those
because of the Netflix deal. It's going to be on Netflix first. So Morbius is going to be on Netflix because they announced what next month, and Uncharted is going to be on Netflix.
Oh, thank God, I'm not paying for that either. Yes.
Okay. Forgot to mute my iPhone. Huh. There's also gonna be another time. For Uncharted, I want to have Greg mostly because if I did not like the film, I want to roast his bad movie taste and the stuff he said.
Yeah.
You guys are free to join.
Why are we here, Yaz?
It's okay. We spent we always begin. I mean, heck, we spent 10 minutes in my Street Fighter review talking about Kai's music history with Dua Lipa and Genesis.
Oh yeah, I just thought we probably should drop the title of the film at some point.
It's okay. We always begin with
the title. They clicked on it. It's fine.
So, like I said, if you guys are not familiar, so we spend for the beginning of this, we talk, we catch up with each other because we don't see each other a lot, and we love to catch up, see how each one of us is doing, and before we begin the show, I would like to ask Andy for a favor.
Yes, my dear.
So when we recorded the Street Fighter review, you were originally supposed to be alongside me and Kai for the review, and unfortunately you weren't there. So I was just wondering if you can do me the favor and give us your quick thought on the film.
Oh, fuck me. Oh my, yeah. See, that's the annoying thing. I messaged you after there was a work emergency. Someone's family relatives had an issue, so I had to go into work. So I had to drop out at the last minute, which obviously sucks for them. Sucks for me that I watched Street Fighter for no fucking reason. I watched a 2-hour movie. I watched it at work the night before, so I was getting paid, and I still hated it. Anything that isn't Bison on camera is awful. I don't get why Kylie's in it. Why Jean-Claude Van Damme is in this? The only thing I found remotely funny was that one of the guys that helps Kylie is Tuttle from Basketball. I was like, oh, that's cool. Yep, I now still hate this movie. Just the plot is dumb, the action is dumb. Just I hate Kai for making us watch that, and even more for no reason.
Yeah. So it's an unredeemable score for you for Street Fighter?
100%. Fuck that. That is the worst movie we've had to watch recently. Out of all the ones that I've been involved in, that's the worst one so far.
Wait until you see the sequel, The Legend of Chun-Li, because that makes this one looks like a Citizen Kane.
But it's got an amazing actress in it, I'll give her that.
Do you know why Kylie Minogue was in the... That's how you pronounce her name, right?
Kylie Minogue, yeah.
Do you know why she was cast in the film?
I don't know why.
They filmed the film in Australia. They needed an Aussie actor in the film. That was the rule. If you're going to film Australia, you need an actor and an Aussie actor in the film. And he was like, man, I can't find an actor. It's like, all what we had, the role we have uncast is Cam. He's like, and then he saw, the director was looking at the magazine. He saw a photo of Kylie Minogue. He's like, I'll get her for Cammy. That's how.
But Kylie comes from Neighbours, doesn't she? So she was an actress beforehand. Yeah. So yeah.
But to be fair, she's only good in Doctor Who. But that's.
Yeah, I bet she was in Doctor Who. And what was this? Jean-Claude Van Damme, because Capcom told them get an action star. They originally wanted Stallone, but they told them we don't have the budget for Stallone. And it's like, we can go with Van Damme. He's the affordable one. And the director told Capcom, he's like, hey, what do we do with the accent? Capcom response was, what accent? It turns out that all the Jean-Claude Van Damme movies that they've been seeing were dubbed by a Japanese actor, and they didn't know that he had an accent.
So they didn't know that his nickname is the Muscles from Brussels. Did no one tell them that?
No. So and he said that his excuse for creating Van Damme in the film, he made him like he's from New Orleans. That's what whenever they make him American, that's the excuse. He's from New Orleans.
Video games are just terrible movies. They're just awful.
I mean, not Sonic. Sonic is good.
Yeah, that's because Jim Carrey's in it. That's like that makes every movie.
I mean,
good.
we have Idris Elba in the sequel playing Knuckles. How good is it?
Sadly, I've not seen that yet.
Yeah,
me too.
Either.
Still not available. You guys don't have Paramount Plus in the UK, right?
Oh,
getting it this month.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a Paramount Plus. Because in my country, is on another streaming service by Paramount Plus bundle. It's not available on it. So what was I? So anyhow, I think we should start going because we already have 10 minutes in. We have to talk about what we really came in. Talking about.
I've got lots of notes.
Yeah. And I'm really curious to see what I accidentally said Kai instead of Andy. What Andy's thought on it, because he actually was kind of mixed. You didn't hate it.
I wanted to hate this movie because I know Mark loves it, and I'm a horrible human being. So anything Mark likes, I have to dislike. Annoyingly, I enjoyed this movie, and I really wish I didn't.
And I've been saying
I have one or two issues, but overall, it's good.
It's a really good rom-com.
Yeah. have to be in like a mood. It's one of those movies you have to be in a certain mood for. It's like it's a little bit heartbreaking at times, but like it's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually I'll say now it's actually right, after all the Kevin Smith movie I've seen, I have not seen a lot. This is actually his best one. But I still haven't seen like the other films. But do you consider this to be his best film, Mark?
No, well, I mean, I think Reboot, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot is my favourite film of all time. So obviously that one I would say is best. Again, this was the first one that he did outside of the View Askew universe, so the Jay and Silent Bob character universe, etc. So I mean, that was I think the reason that Jersey Girl's so maligned, etc., is not really anything to do with the film. Again, I think it was expectations that you were getting a Kevin Smith View Askew film from a lot of the fans who then were like, oh well, this wasn't what I what I was expecting. And then Ben Affleck and J-Lo, there was massive amounts of drama around that. They said the set was stalked by paparazzis anytime they did anything. But and there is actually like a 3 hours director's cut, which has all sorts a load of extra Ben and J-Lo footage in it, including their wedding, etc. And she also there's a scene where she comes back and dances with Gertie as like a ghost dancing with her at the end that got cut. But so again, I think it was just, I didn't think it was anyone. It was expectations, and then all of the marketing and everything got completely overshadowed by the Ben and J-Lo stuff, which is even more ironic watching now. Now they're back together.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right, they're back together. And it's also very weird seeing like his new movie Deep Water, because he was with Anna de Armas and used to date each other when they made that film.
Yeah.
You guys haven't seen Deep Water?
Affleck? I haven't actually seen it. No,
I think it's on Amazon in the UK.
Yeah.
So what was I? Oh yes.
It was on the list.
I don't think.
Affleck's good.
Yeah, he's a good actor and director. And that time he already coming on the heels of Daredevil and Giggly. What is it called?
GG, isn't it, or Gigolo? I can't remember. No, it's not Gigolo. It's GG.
It's the one with him and Jennifer Lopez. I think you gotta know what it is.
Yeah, I think it's Geely.
Yeah, because he was coming on the heels of these films, and because this one also got delayed a multiple hundred times because.
Well, no, I mean, obviously Affleck it was Good Will Hunting, obviously, which he won an Oscar for writing as a kid. Still to this day, he's literally has a 10-page letter apologising profusely for having still not thanked Kevin Smith on the Oscar stage. Because Kevin Smith was the reason that Good Will Hunting got made.
He's good as a producer on the film.
Yeah, executive producer. Yeah, they're him and Scott Mosier.
Yeah.
Again, another one.
Is Scott Mosier the one who is he involved in all of Kevin's films?
Not anymore, particularly. Again, not anything. Not that he's not. He's directed the Grinch animated movie. He co-directed that. He's doing a load of stuff himself as director. And again, because they both went to film school, and it was like whoever produced the script for their film first, the other one was then going to be the producer on it for them, etc. And like the editor, and obviously Kevin got it out. So Mosier was then got cast into this producer role when he really wanted to make films or whatever. So they still do Smodcast together, etc. The podcast, etc. together.
I know, because when I saw the name on the credits, and I'm like, I'm sure I've seen that before somewhere.
Yeah, but I don't think he is on. I don't think he was in Yoga Hosers or some of the latter ones. Because again, he's just got busy.
Yeah, he's got his own stuff going on. Yeah.
Is he the guy who told Kevin Smith the Yoga Hosers story?
Yes, that's so. Well, no, that's the Tusk story. Where they read a British advert for a room to rent in Brighton, and Kevin Smith very stoned, and then just spends the next hour of the podcast just basically writing Tusk, and then did a campaign of Walrus yes or Walrus no, and everyone was Walrus yes.
Mistakes were made. mistakes were made.
Tusk is a good movie as well.
That's for a different day. That's for a different day.
Again, Tusk is a
hearing,
far more
Tusk
acquired
has
taste
more
than
favorable
this.
people liking it than Yoga Hosers, from what I'm hearing.
Oh yeah, I think Tusk is, again, Yoga Hosers is probably considered Kevin's
weakest.
Kevin Smith's weakest work. I mean, even Cop Out is probably a better film. Obviously, it's more drama.
I've seen both of them. Yoga Hosers is better than Cop Out. That's all I'll say.
Which do you prefer?
If I had to watch Yoga Hosers, because Cop Out, I was like, man, what's going on? Because I know about the behind the scenes drama with him and Bruce Willis, and the fact this is not his script. He's doing a studio film.
Yeah. And it was also meant to be called A Couple of Dicks.
How the hell do you market this film?
As in for detectives. Yeah, and obviously then it got changed, so that's why it's called Cop Out. Because it was a cop out title. To go
that's a good pun. I get that.
Yeah.
Again, doesn't really work though. Yeah, it's a great pun if you know the story. Not a great title if you don't.
Yeah. And he actually, recently apologized to Bruce Willis after he got diagnosed with...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They've spoken a couple of times since.
Yeah, I think so. I think if you haven't mentioned, the movie we're reviewing today is the 2004 film Jersey Girl, that was written and directed by Kevin Smith, and it stars Ben Affleck, Liv Taylor, George, what's his name? Carlin, Stephen.
George Carlin.
Yes, George Carlin. That's actually, I was surprised to see this is actually his last live action role in the film.
Yeah, he did voice act. He did Cars and Thomas the Tank Engine and some other animated films after. Yeah,
I know he was in Tarzan too. Was the gorilla?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
and he was the narrator of Thomas the Tank Engine as well.
Yeah.
Which he did for years and years and years.
Did he replace Ringo then?
There's two jobs, US and the UK.
That probably makes more sense then.
Yeah.
Well, no, I thought he did. Oh, yeah, I think he did replace Ringo though.
I think that's the movie.
No. I think even back in the day, obviously when Ringo died.
I would say because that was like in the 80s and 90s.
Ringo, the Beatles.
Yeah, Ringo Starr. Yeah, he was the original.
Used to do.
Wait, did you say Ringo died? I think he's alive.
Yeah, Ringo's still alive.
Oh, is he? Why is he stop doing it?
It's Ringo and McCartney are alive. It's the other two that died.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry. I can't remember why he stopped doing it. Oh, then no.
Maybe because he was too expensive.
It's all animated now, and
yeah.
I mean, I don't even like how he did to Bob the Builder. Do you saw what he did to him?
Oh, it looks weird. All our childhood. I know I'm young, but I feel so old when I see this shit.
Yeah,
it's so much cheaper to do, Andy, and so much easier.
That's why I'm happy that Shaun the Sheep is still getting in stop motion.
I mean,
that's Hartman though. He does all of his. Well, apart from the couple of more recent films, but
I only know that they did. What was it? Flush Away. That was the only CG one.
And Early Man, not Early Man. What's the football one from 2 years ago?
Is it a football?
Early Man
with Tom Hiddleston.
Like Primal Man.
I'm sure it's something like that. Audience, you probably know what we're talking about. The Tom Hiddleston football movie from a couple of years ago didn't do very well.
With cavemen football movie.
Yes, the cavemen.
It's probably an easy.
Yeah.
A key for
Early Man. It's Early Man. It came out before Shaun the Sheep 2.
Yeah.
And they're doing Chicken Run 2, and they already recasted since.
Really?
Yes, it was on Netflix. Zachary Levi is replacing Mel Gibson, and Sandy Newton is replacing the actress who's voicing Ginger.
Oh, right. Well, I like a bit of Zachary Levi. Yeah. I always
100%. I have an entire collection of fucking Converse because of him.
Yeah.
We should get you for one of the Chipmunks movies. He's in it. I think it's the second one.
Exactly, he's the second one. Yeah, he plays Jason Lee.
Yeah.
We should get you all for the Chipmunks movies. Jason Lee's in it too.
Yeah. And in Jersey Girl.
Oh yeah, he's in a cameo. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
So like I said, I mentioned George Carlin. So we also got Jennifer Lopez, which I'm surprised to find out that she's in the film, and we got also Jason Biggs from American Pie. He plays like a Ben Affleck's character's assistant in the film.
The pie fucker.
The pie fucker. I'm glad Mark said that.
It's a joke from Jay. It's a joke from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. So
I have not seen the film, but I know what you do with the pie.
It's but it was just him and Dawson, isn't it? Who's Dawson?
Yeah, it's yeah. I can't think of
whatever
it.
the actor of Dawson, playing in the film Jay and Silent Bob, and he Dawson the. Yeah, basically always just refers to him as the pie fucker. Shut up, pie fucker.
Yeah. He was also Leonardo in that 2012 TMNT show for like season 1 and part of season 2. Then he got replaced by Seth Green, and and you're like wondering, wait, he sounds different. Jason Biggs and Seth Green, they sound different. They made the explanation like, what's it? Leonardo, his voice box got damaged. Now he sounds like Seth Green.
I mean, they're both actors who've tried to be Hollywood stars, but sort of have never quite made it.
I mean, he was very big with the American Pie around the American Pie era, but then didn't really.
That's what I mean. They both had that sort of 5-ish years of being big, and then just whittled into nothingness.
Yeah, the reboot jokes about like, no, your phone's not ringing. No one's ringing. So yeah, do like game for taking the piss out of himself in Kevin Smith films.
We should start with the recap.
And obviously introducing Raquel Castro,
the daughter,
who is phenomenal.
This is actually her first movie, right?
It was her first movie. She'd done one episode of a TV series called Third Watch. Later went on. I mean, she'd only done the one episode before she did the TV before she did this, and she is fantastic in this movie. I think.
I think she's now a singer. I don't know if she's
really. Yeah, so she then went on to be a contestant in the first series of The US Voice, and got quite far in it.
Yeah. Oh, she was in the Christina Aguilera team.
Yeah. And J-Lo taught her to dance. Because as the aforementioned cutscene where she was dancing with it I'll come to that. It's also because she was on set all the time because they were dating, etc. So even if she wasn't actually in the movie, she was around a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
And there is a cut of the movie where she's in it quite a lot more. But obviously at the time they didn't. And with obviously the reception to Geely, which was atrocious.
I think that's how you pronounce him, Geely.
Yeah, didn't want to promote it as a Ben Affleck J-Lo movie.
All right, now. Maybe I should put for the thumbnail. I should Photoshop Jennifer Lopez behind Ben Affleck for the thumbnail.
So like Gokes, just our arms leaning around him, just hugging him. It's just slightly transparent.
Yeah.
All right. I think we should start with the recap of the film. So the film begins with the whole movie. She's being narrated by the daughter, right? It's unclear when that actually ends. I don't think it is necessarily. So the intro bit, but I think when it cuts to her at 7, then you kind of lose that. There's the time jump. I think that's what there might be.
Otherwise, it was one hell of a long school report. Considering how long the other people, which was like one sentence.
How the hell would you explain, walking scene to his dad and lift him?
My mum and dad are really religious. So every night in the bedroom they're shouting Jesus.
I had a feeling that was the direction that they were going with the story when she said my mum and dad is religious.
And then they cut out on it when he's about to say shit.
Yeah.
A surprising lack of
it's PG-13, if I'm not mistaken.
I think in the US it's 15 over here. So there's shit, but there's no fucks. I don't think.
There was nearly a fuck.
Yes, again, so they, which is, again, Kevin Smith's first non-R-rated movie.
Yeah.
Most of his R-rated movies were just R-rated. He had to appeal to not have them as mature, MA 18 every time to get the ratings down.
Because that's what happened with Yoga Houses. Because of that drawing of the dicks on the novel, they had to give it an R rating. They had to appeal to them.
But again, Kevin's got very good at that, of appealing those the rating things, and rarely actually ends up making cuts. Just like, come on, like this isn't that offensive. I think this is kind of his argument.
And it kind of works when it's kids. The naivety is all. I always find that stuff funnier.
There's a very good documentary called "This Film Is Not Yet Rated."
Yes, I've heard about it.
And they also talk about "But I'm a Cheerleader." And the
is this the one with which has wasn't Natasha Lyonne as a lesbian?
and get sent to a reform camp or whatever, this sort of thing. But again, it was talking about how the difference between the fact that two girls kissing then pushed the rating up, when if it was at the time and all the rest. It's very interesting documentary, and it's really bizarre because again, it's not an official body, it's just a group of parents.
This is what happened with Street Fighter, because they wrote the film. I don't know if you I talked about in my review with Kai. They wrote the film as a PG-13 rating, and there was no F-bombs. And what happens that they submitted to the MPAM, and what happens that when they submitted, a school shooting happened, and the parents who were rating the film, they gave it an R rating. It was like, what happened? So they ended up, editing the fight scene. That's one the reason why the fight scenes looks bad, because they had to edit it down for a PG rating. They resubmitted the film, it got rated G, and Capcom got mad because they wanted PG rating. It's like, how are we going to fix it? And the director was like, I have an idea. He called Van Damme, he told him, for that scene where you're coming down, where you say, I'm too old for this shit, something like this, you add this line. They added and resubmitted to the MPA, and they got PG-13 rating.
So he pushed it up there like, oh crap, we can't have a G rated. No one's going to watch a G-rated Street Fighter
because
film.
They wanted, the young Democrats who played the game on the arcade and the grown-ups who never played it.
Again, there isn't actually really rules. There's some, template rules around number of swear words and things like that. But it is really subjective. It's really bizarre kind of organisation that just and which has such a massive impact on how much the film can make. Less so these days, especially in R8 comedies and stuff like that. But Walmart won't put, won't do the DVDs of M8 if it's a mature rating, given a mature rating. It's massive financial impact that the ratings can do, and it's just some random people making some subjective decisions about it.
Like I said, the best thing about that is, I'm not sure you guys know about the South Park movie.
Oh yes, I heard about it.
My favourite fact that the original name for it is All Hell Breaks Loose. And that was going to give it an R-rated thing because it got the word hell in the title. Nothing to do with it averaging out at 2 swear words every 30 seconds. So they changed it to bigger, longer, and uncut. And they said, that's fine. That was a dick joke, and they never realised. Then when they realised, hang on, you can't have that. So you said, yes, we've printed all the posters, we've done all this. It's now called this. So
yeah.
They're just morons.
I'm really curious because I don't know if you guys
see that's the difference between Cop Out. That would end up being a better title.
Yeah.
and also the South Park guy, you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, them two are just they're too smart. They'll just anything to work around.
I mean, probably one of the smartest business decisions ever was self-funding the Book of Mormon.
Oh yeah.
Fuck me, that show.
Not involving any producers, so not losing 60-70% of it, having all of that money come back to them.
Yeah.
And it's still running all the time.
Yeah. They are some very rich people.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
they still work their asses off.
They did also, they opened this visual effects studio that did, that Kendrick Lamar video the music video that he did with the deep fakes.
Well, they did that, did they?
Yeah, their company they launched that visual effects company. They did the deep fakes.
Yeah.
Where he turns into OJ and what's his name, Will Smith, and Kobe Bryant. That was music video. Yeah. You guys haven't seen the?
They're diversifying themselves out there.
I never like to be bored.
They bought Casa Bonita as well.
I love the fact that they bought Casa Bonita. It's just the best thing.
And again, clearly a very bad business decision, but hey, keeps a landmark open.
They just are a massive deal for Paramount. They're doing fine.
Literally, just shy of $1 billion deal, wasn't it? Well, it was 900 and something million. Just
yeah.
And South Park is still as good as ever.
You consistently good shows.
Talking of other good documentaries, the South Park 6 Days to Air documentary, fantastic of how they actually make an episode in 6 days. It's insane. And that's how it manages to be so on the pulse.
Yeah.
As opposed to Simpsons, it takes 1.5 years.
Do we begin talking about the film or not?
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
That's the thing, because obviously Mark loves Kevin Smith. I think as much as Mark loves Kevin Smith, I love Matt and Trey. So any excuse to talk about them, I'm just like,
we could have talked about if we did basketball, but
shut up.
We'll do it.
We'll get to that. Yeah. We'll get to that.
I mean, we still also have Orgasmo. What's the chance we do?
So yeah, the movie opens with the kids doing a project about their essays about their family. Some great little one-liners and.
One of the kids, my dog ate the breakfast and he pooped it. And she gave him 0.
I checked. He hasn't pooped it out.
Yeah. So we see like his daughter. If I'm mistaken, her name is what was it?
Gertie.
Gertie. Yeah. Because, and what's the mom's name?
Gertrude.
Yeah. So
awful name.
So it opens with.
You even mentioned it. Like, why did you? Someone mentioned like, why did you name your daughter this name?
Well, no, that comes later in the big cameo.
We'll get to that one.
Yeah. So yeah, it opens up saying my dad says his life was is in 2 halves, New York and New Jersey or whatever. So then goes in and does the op of it all. Yeah,
we see him like he's in the office. He's toasting like
really happy people and then kill the wife.
Yeah. And they do it quickly because especially with who they got to cast to play the wife. So like
no, there's like 30 that should be like 30-40 minutes of that. There was meant to be loads and they cut it to try and distance it from Geely. So yeah, there is a far longer cut which includes like their wedding. So they shot all their wedding and all sorts of other stuff. But yeah, they were like, okay, we're moving on from Ben Affleck and J-Lo.
He died from sadness. So
they do run through that rather quickly.
Yeah. So we see him like we see him, like we said. He's happy. Talks about her story about her dad, how he's happy with his life. He's in a relationship with her mom, who's played by J-Lo. And like I mentioned,
she's in literature. He's in music.
Music. Oh, I didn't know that she was in literature.
Music rap. She's a literature.
Yeah, we also Yeah, because like I said, in this movie, I didn't know that she was in. I was surprised when I saw her in the film, J-Lo. And then now reading about it, like you mentioned, like they had to delete her scenes because they want this because of the bad publicity that happened with their breakup and what was it, that movie Gigi that came out?
Yeah,
had negative reception.
That was just panned.
Yeah.
Never seen it, but.
So we've seen him like we don't see the marriage like you mentioned. There was a wedding, she gets pregnant, and we see like that their life wasn't that good because you see they're always fighting each other.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it wasn't that good. It was just a realistic.
He was more workaholic. That's why he was more focused on his work.
Yeah.
And then he actually, he leaves. The next day she goes to labor, and they are actually. And she gives birth. She dies from an aneurysm, right?
Yeah. So after she's given birth, she dies. Yeah, goes down with an aneurysm, and can't be. So you're like, okay, right, yes.
Yeah.
Didn't know that's where this was going. Yeah. Cool.
and also, I was actually reading the cast. Who is Harley? His daughter, Kevin Smith's daughter, is in the film. Who was she playing?
Was she the baby?
No, because she's playing a character named Tracy. Something like.
Oh, she must have been just in the class. I missed that Harley was in this. She must have just been one of the.
She's greater in the film, but maybe she's playing one of the students.
Yeah.
I will talk with my.
Oh, she probably plays does one of the musical act. He's one of the people at the end with the musical acts.
It's all the same.
We'll get to that in a bit, but then we after it he's still working in his job, and then we get the Will Smith Hard Rock Cafe.
Yeah, before that he actually we have to
start shitting on Will Smith.
Yeah.
Fresh Prince, he's not like he's going to be a movie actor.
He ain't going anywhere. Some 7-year-old like just absolutely dunking on Wells.
And of course, before that, I don't know if you know, there was also the guy who was changing her diaper, and that guy was like, "This is not how you do it." It's like, and then he leaves.
Oh yeah, so that's
supposed to be Jason Mewes who was supposed to be playing him, right?
Oh, was he? And that was probably in the real bad drug days or whatever.
Yeah, because Kevin Smith said like, that was tough love. I wanted him to end his addiction. Yeah, that's why he didn't cast him.
The part of the agent, I don't know, assistant, other agent or whatever, is Kevin Smith's wife, is Jennifer Swarbuck.
The one who tells her, what, just because I'm a woman, do you think I can know how to change her diaper?
Yes,
that was Kevin Smith's wife? Yeah, because I think because she was in yoga, she was blonde. That's why I didn't think of her. She was played Harley's mom in the film.
I just think of her in an all black like catsuit.
That's for Stringer Jane Silent Bob Strike Back.
Okay. So like I said, and then of course he gets fired after insulting Will Smith, and then
the press.
And the press. I mean, to be fair, they got it coming. The press of how big of an a-holes they were. They deserve getting screamed at.
You never want to insult Will Smith or anyone Will Smith likes. There's consequences nowadays.
Come on, this
especially later when it comes happen later, it was like, man, that felt unrealistic, which we'll talk about it. And it's funny you guys brought up Will Smith. Mark, I told Eddie, Mark, do you know who they originally wanted instead of Will Smith, right?
I can't remember. I did, but I haven't got into. I didn't see that in the interviews that I watched of
Bruce Willis
in preparation. Oh, was it? Yeah.
Yes, they wanted Bruce Willis for this, and that's pre-cop out.
Yeah. No. Well. Yeah. That's what I mean. And more importantly, pre-Die Hard 4.
Oh, that's right. Because I forgot.
Because they met on Die Hard 4.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Because I even saw an interview. He talked about how, in fact, he saw him. He wasn't acting well with what's his name? His co-star in Die Hard 4.
Justin Long.
Justin
Long. Yeah.
He talked about how, in fact, it was not because he said in an interview.
Yeah. And thankfully, it's good that he did that, so we got Tusk.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to mention his character in
He-Man.
Zack and Miri Make a Porno.
That's the one.
Therefore, reboot.
Yeah.
Because he was in He-Man as the robot, if not mistaken.
Yeah.
So you see him like he gets fired and he ends up moving with his dad, who's played by George Carlin.
George Carlin. Yeah.
He's actually the best part of the film for me.
His mates as well.
Yeah.
I do get a little bit, but what you get with him and his mates is just gold all the time. I mean, I'm not sure how aware you are. Judd Apatow's just made a documentary about him. George Carlin was a huge stand-up comic in the 70s and 80s, etc.
I knew him. He was in Bill and Ted, the first two films.
Rufus!
And I liked also the ending of Bill and Ted 1. It's like, oh, did they get Will? Trust me. And
I like how one of the uncle characters is the guy from Dodgeball and Barry. I can never remember the actor's name. He's just one of the actors who's in everything.
Stephen
Root? That's one of the two guys, the friends?
Yeah, the two. Yeah, so in Dodgeball he's the Alpha Love guy. In Barry,
he's Stephen Root.
He's like handler. Yeah.
Yeah, I just remembered he was also in Barry, because I still haven't finished Barry all season 1, 2, and 3. We'll talk about Barry later, maybe another day. So he ends up moving, and his dad, he works for a cleaning company?
Back to Highlands, New Jersey, birthplace of Kevin Smith.
All right, and then
etc.
And apparently, of all the actors, I think only Jason Briggs, the actor who's from New Jersey natively.
Yeah, because Affleck's Boston.
Yes, he's Bostonian, and I know because I know what was it, Liv? Oh, that's Steve Taylor's daughter. She's actually from.
Oh yeah.
She's from New York, Manhattan.
Close enough.
Yeah. George Carlin, he was also in Manhattan from New York. Stephen Root, he was in Florida. Mike Starr, the other guy who was their other friend, he was also from Flushing, New York.
That's pretty close. That's close enough, I guess.
And Jennifer Lopez, she was from the Bronx.
And no Kevin Smith cameo.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I didn't notice him. And neither was, like we mentioned, Jason Mewes. He was not also in the film, but because of
it's people he's worked with, but not that. You don't know Brian Howler, and it's again he was trying to make a non-viewer skew. We do get later on. We do get the Jason Lee and
Jason Lee and Matt Damon. That was a cameo.
Yeah, but that's about and his wife. But he was very restrained or very trying to move away from just making Kevin Smith films. Yeah.
That's actually what most filmmakers want to like. They try to diversify their portfolio because they want to stick in one thing. Because if they stick doing one thing together, then they get burned out by doing it. Just like they want to try something different. So this one thing I appreciate. Like he's like, hey, you know what,
he had his wild days, and now he's like, yeah, no, I'm back to making Kevin Smith films. Yeah, because again, but he was trying to obviously do all of these via the studio system, etc., and all the rest of it. So now he just private finances them all or whatever or stuff, and just makes Kevin Smith films, which make $10 million or whatever, and make a load of the
budget.
DVD.
I think this movie, I think, bombed because it was his most expensive film, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, 35 million.
Well, I'd imagine just because of the cast, yeah.
Because Ben Affleck, I think, took 10 million and J-Lo took 4 million from the budget. And this is actually right afterwards at Armageddon, and Liv Taylor, she was already, she was doing the Lord of the Rings films.
Oh God. I cannot wait for Clerks 3 to come out, so Clerks will officially be a far better trilogy than Lord of the Rings.
Fuck you. I will accept it'll be a better trilogy than The Hobbit, but you're not getting the normal trilogy. You can get fucked.
I'll tell you what, if Clerks 3
back to Kevin's original point of I would far prefer to sit down and watch Clerks any day over Lord of the Rings.
When the director comes out and says, "Oh, The Lord of the Rings is a better film than Clerks," then you know he's right. Even Tom Hanks, I don't know if you saw an interview, he was asked about, how if people were not happy that Forrest Gump won the best picture of Pulp Fiction. He was like, yeah, they're right. Pulp Fiction is a better film than Forrest Gump, but this is how, people like at that time, it affected them more, Forrest Gump, and they voted for it.
Yeah, I mean, they're two pretty perfect films, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Just as long as we stay away from pushing his wife, on the streets, that's one thing. Did you guys saw the video of Tom Hanks?
He's in an airport, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah, he was in. I think we'll come out from I think a dinner or something with his wife, and the fans were pushed. He pushed his one. He got mad at them. I mean, rightfully so because. I mean, he didn't.
But didn't punch him.
Yeah, which we'll talk about the punching later. So, we're setting up the punching like it's becoming a thing.
I mean, it's already a dated joke, and we're recording this. By the time this comes out, it's even more dated. It's just.
Yeah. And what was it? So he gets fired. He lives with George Carlin, who's playing, Ben. And Ben
fantastic acting.
Ben Affleck. His character's name is Ollie. Yeah.
And you see the funeral where Affleck and Carlin do some great acting.
They're sleeping. Really... I don't know. I kind of.
No. Again, he's in shock or whatever, isn't he? It's very clear that he's. Again, very like what you would see at a funeral or something like that. I thought that was very, very good acting there. Yeah. Not doing much, but conveying a lot.
Yes. So he goes on to and he tells him, like, you can start taking care of Dirt, because before he got fired, George Carlin, the father, Ben Affleck's dad, he was the one, taking care of the daughter, and I'm calling her daughter because I can't pronounce her name.
Gertie.
Yeah, Gertie. So anyhow, it's like he tells him, you start taking care of that, and then he tells the parents, like, I'm gonna take care of you, everything. You guys miss your mom, and then later we jump back when. And
he starts working in the sanitation department with his dad.
Sanitation. That was what I was gonna say. Where does that work?
Well, it's probably. I think it's probably actually public works over sanitation. So they did kind of everything, didn't they? With street cleaning, but they're also like doing stuff on the repairs for the pipes and mowing lawns and stuff. Yeah, basically just
sanitation. Let's say sanitation because that's to be the main thing.
I think it's probably actually public works. Again, Highland, and you do see it when you go back, when we jump forward in time.
Yeah, we jump back at
Highlands. He's got the crest on it. A great place to live, work, and play.
Yeah, and he calls it the Batmobile. This is the cleaner.
Yeah,
and which is funny because years later he became playing Batman.
Again, that goes back to the early scene where he took J-Lo's Gertie back home, and he was joking about and it was like he's the only person that can drive the big street cleaner or whatever. So his dad was the only person. So now you're in jail. There's a nice little joke there. Yeah. But goes back home. He has to move out of his swanky Central Park apartment in the city and move into his dad's small ranch
with his daughter, because
Highlands, New Jersey.
Yeah, so like we said, she's now we see we jump back. We do that the time jump, which we think now it's
well, no. Before that, we get one of the fantastic lines as well when it's like, "I'll go give her a bottle," and it's like, "Oh, at 8 o'clock, she gets a bottle and you get a bottle," alluding to the many running jokes that his dad is the functional alcoholic.
Yeah, yeah. And there's also another thing where he tells her he's not mentally. It's like, I heard that. When she was like, she wants to look for a play. And so we, like I said, we jump back.
We also we jump forward.
Yeah, 7 years, like, because she was 1 year now. We're seeing her, right?
7 years, yeah.
So we'll say 7 years because, and we believe
she's 7.
Yes, and we think this is actually right after she finished reading her report. Because that's what we think.
Yeah, I think that again, it's a bit fuzzy on that. They use it to start with. It's not very clear where that ends.
Yeah,
but
like how then we suddenly in the teacher
street,
like him and Liv Taylor in the shower naked. That's one thing.
Yeah, her face would have been. Yeah, that teacher's had some good reactions as well. And then suddenly, when we're in the street cleaning, we start getting the dunking on cats.
Yeah,
Cat's the worst thing to happen to New York City.
That's something, and apparently I don't know if it's true. Is this the first movie to make a 9/11 joke? Was it the worst thing happened to New York City?
That isn't a 9/11 joke.
Because this movie came out.
It would have been post 9/11. Yeah, because
they filmed it in 2002. It's supposed to come out in 2003, and then they pushed it to 2004 because of the Ben Affleck and JLo drama.
Yeah, but and Jane Silent Bob Strike Back came out just before 9/11, so that again was a massive big break, and then the box office just died because no one was going out to see movies.
Yeah.
Around there, but no, I don't think that's not that's just a dunk on cats. I don't think that's don't think they reference 9/11 at all in this. Not really.
So he ends up
definitely too soon at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they drive home, and then George Carlin, he goes to Ben Affleck, and he's like, why aren't you taking to go cast? It's like, really, it doesn't. You couldn't find another person. And also, we also see that the first setup, like he tells her, are you flushing the toilet? That he tells them
we get this again.
They're trying to set up something.
So then we get that, but he's also still going to interviews in the city. So then you get the
Matt
Jason
Damon,
Lee and Matt Damon. They're just there to just see and just talk to him and just see a legend, but no chance of him getting hired for a job anywhere because he's just radioactive at this point.
Yeah, he comes back home.
Everyone wished that they could say what he said, but. Yeah. No one wants to.
Anyone who's ever dealt with any people in any job, you just want, at one point you want to do what he did, and you're like, well done for you doing it, we're proud. Yeah,
but no, we can't hire you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you also, after that, he comes back home and he sees his daughter with a male friend of her. Like, keep in mind, these are 7-year-old children. They're showing each other 5 apart. And Ben Affleck, he stopped having a talk with them.
He just walks in, opens the door, closes the door, and just go. And then you cut to the scene with what are your intentions for my daughter? You come back in with a ring.
And then she's like,
only married ladies show their private parts.
And then she's like, she doesn't. Is yours bigger than his? Or she's like,
it's the same
size. Yeah, I'm
sadly, yes.
Sadly.
And then she's like, let's go rent a video. Okay, they leave. He tells her to go to pick up a movie, and then he snugs up to go to the adult section. And one thing I noticed, I don't know if you guys noticed that you go to the VHS store, all the main movies posts that they are focusing are all Miramax movies, because I noticed Pulp Fiction. What was it also? Shakespeare.
Well, I mean,
it's a Miramax produced film. That's why, but
it's also a thing with, if you feature DVDs and things like that of film, you have to actually get permission to use the box art and all the rest of it. So that's why they're all Miramax films, because it was
they had Men in Black.
We can give you the rights. Yeah. So they would have had to have gone out and got the extra ones, but everything else.
How much do you think it cost them to get the right to the Men in Black DVD?
I don't know, probably not that much, but it's more the hassle of it. So I think that's why they just stocked it.
Maybe
with
that's why
Miramax
most of the
films.
budget it went to that DVD.
Well, I
the
mean,
VHS.
also the music and
Oh, that's right.
ending
There's
on
also music in the film. I forgot.
there's quite a lot of music that probably costs quite some money. You've got who's the Bruce Springsteen?
I only recognize
credits.
My End, My Love, which they played in the end. That's the only music I recognize.
But there's a few fairly big tunes which usually end up costing quite a bit of money.
So
very interesting how films and soundtracks, etc. The band just get to decide how much it is. I don't think it is for TV. I think you get paid a thing. But like on movies, they can just ask for however much they want, and everyone just sets a different price. It's a very odd kind of thing, but yeah.
That's why most of the time you see movies. I don't know if the Trainspotting, the bands they had in the film, they were not that popular. Most of the bands.
Well, no, I mean that was Danny Boyle, a UK, indie rock, etc. Has got very good taste in music. So yeah, some of them weren't. I think there's a few. I can't really remember Trainspotting soundtrack.
He had Iggy Pop.
Again, going back to Forrest Gump, the only reason Forrest Gump has the soundtrack it is because they were like, we're not going to pay for it. Is they cut the film with the soundtrack in and played it to all the execs. So they were like, crap. Like, you need this. This really makes the film. So they had to go out and pay for every single one of those. What everyone was demanding for it.
And they already spent most of that Forrest Gump money on the visual effects and to get the president.
That I tell you what, that Films That Made Us document, the one on Forrest Gump is fantastic. It was a shit show of a production, but fantastic movie. So
he so they were
reaches through the curtain.
He grabs any movies he sees without looking,
and then puts it under his thing so he doesn't. Yeah.
I mean, it was the most obvious joke in the world. I'm like, clearly going to be a gay porno. That's not even.
It's a bisexual porno.
Bye
guy. This guy, yeah.
And then it's like,
what was the name of the porn actor in it? Curious something or whatever. Yeah. Was it with Curious?
George, I remember there was also the beginning of the film, George Michael joke. Oh, come on, he's singing about women. What makes you think he's singing about men?
George's.
So
again, good jokes. Lots of good jokes in this film.
Then he actually left her. This is why we introduced her. She plays Maya, right? That's her character. And she's actually a psychology student. She sees them like coming in, and it's like, hey, she swaps in the VHS. They're using VHS, not DVD. For some reason, we said DVD.
Yeah.
And then she picks up an animated movie, which we'll see later. It was like, okay, what the heck is this?
This feels like so much something you'd tag us in on Twitter. Like the trailer for that movie is
I'm going to see what movie that is. I want to see it.
Isn't it
bootleg Toy Story?
No, it is something. It is a movie. I imagine it's probably a Miramax one.
I mean, they did distributed European films. They're like Miramax.
Yeah.
They have them come in.
You never see a hider hair of the running joke of Dirty Dancing. You never see the box for it. You never have any audio of it. Yeah. Again, rights issues, I'm sure. There. We're not paying out for Dirty Dancing.
Okay. So then Maya.
She picks up the Men in Black, doesn't she? Can we watch this?
It's like, no.
With the Men in Black.
Was that the first? That was the first visit or the second visit? The Men in Black.
That's the first visit, I believe. Then we've got the flushing the toilet. And then we get some more flushing of the toilet in between.
Yes. And then he actually, she visits him. Maya Babbage, she literally visits him. She tells him like she wants to have meet her to do a psychologist for Ben.
Starts asking questions, and then he's like, "Well, can you not ask these with your daughter here?" And then she's
you always buy pornography with your child?
Rent pornography.
Well, Who? Mark. Did people do that? Did you rent pornography?
That was before the internet.
Yes. So
people at that time would sit down too late watching Cinemax.
Old enough.
Oh, okay, right, yeah. So when that was a thing, you wouldn't
just, I just missed it. I think
because everyone knows what those videos or DVDs are used for. You do not want to touch the case or the disc or anything that has been touched by someone else who was.
Yeah.
As a cleaning thing, I'm like, nope, just nope.
It was $2. I think she said, wasn't it? Like,
for a 2-day rental.
2-day rental, which seemed quite reasonable for Paul. And again, I would have thought there would have been an upcharge on that. Yeah. But again, I never rented it, so I wouldn't.
I don't know. Did you have to rewind it also? Because you have to for the VH, you have to rewind it to return it, right?
Yeah, but who's making it? Yeah.
you see all the bits stuck back in, and
it's Again, you assume it's like an hour and a half porn. Like, who's watching the whole thing?
Yeah.
Like the fast forward and rewind bit. There's just that little 10 minutes in the middle that's just constant rewatched.
Okay, so she tells her, and after that, he goes out with Maya, and she starts talking with him and about his sex life, and so he mentioned like he didn't have sex since what?
So then they go to the diner. So we go back again, Flushing, and then we start.
Did you notice something in the diner? I noticed like the extra behind Ben Affleck.
So we also get the picking of Sweeney Todd between the two of them. Where she's like, it's like anything for cats, anything.
Because I remember the second flashing because they travel to New York to see Sweeney Todd, and then he sees like the scene where the guy's
no. So we get them picking Sweeney Todd. We don't get. Oh no, yeah. No, we do. Yeah, we get the Sweeney Todd
the Sweeney
one.
Todd, she picks Sweeney Todd when after George Carlin fails to convince him to do Cats.
Yeah. And it's just like she's just sat there like this, and then suddenly it's like, oh.
The moment he says, like, because I have seen the Johnny Depp Tim Burton movie. The moment she says Sweeney Todd, I was like, oh wow.
Yeah. This obviously, I'm not intentionally looking for nitpicking, but when things take you out of a movie, he's a sanitation, street cleaner or public worker. He is paid for 2 front row tickets on the first tier of a brand new Broadway musical, which means it's going to be the original Broadway cast. Those tickets cost hundreds of fucking dollars. How did he afford that?
How much does that?
What's
the cheapest price for a Broadway ticket, Andy?
So when I saw Book of Mormon last month, which was on tour, so nowhere near the original cast, I had first row balcony, which is the third row of thing. They were £45 each. But I know when my friend looked at Hamilton, when that was first in Broadway, when it would have been Lin-Manuel and all the original cast, they for first tier they were about £2,000 or $2,000. Like they go for fucking astronomical amount if they're popular, which Sweeney Todd obviously is because it's very well known. So they're probably
that have been the original one then. The original run of Sweeney Todd is. I thought Sweeney Todd was way older than that.
But then if I don't know when it first came out, but my logic was because the teacher didn't know about it and no one else seemed to really heard of it. I assumed it was new. So then it might have been it would have been at least the first or second
Sweeney
cast.
Todd, it opened in 1979.
Oh,
yes, I think it was old, so that's probably why they didn't. Know
there was actually
but also I would expect he was a music agent, etc. And they did movie. I bet you he's got a hook up there from his previous days.
They're still hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, I bet he got some mates. Some
mates rates.
Or comp tickets. Through one of them, because I guarantee you, he gave plenty of people tickets to concerts. So they give it.
So he knew maybe connection. He knew someone. Maybe that's how he got
I would have assumed. Yeah, because again, they're always like agents and stuff like that are all very
so
connected together, etc., and give each other favors. So I'm sure he probably had some
takes her
favors
outside. He takes his daughter out and she shows her where he used to live, and then he tells her like, "Hey, what was it? She asked him about her mom, right? If they were happy together. I was saying something else.
Well, no, so he shows them their old apartment.
Then they go on the horse ride, and after that, it cuts to him and with Maya on the date, right? The diner.
Yeah, on the lunch. It's an interview for college paper. It's not a date.
Yeah.
I wouldn't describe it as a date. Yeah. he turned into?
No,
As it?
Yes, of course. And he tells them after he tells her that he hasn't been slept with a woman in 8 years. He's like, fine, you come to I'll come to your house and I'll sleep with you. And of course they're
I'll
about
throw you a pity fuck or a pity lay.
But where's Liv Tyler when, frankly, we all need her?
Why? She's busy and I didn't. Do you guys know that when her mom got pregnant, she was not in a relationship with Steve Tyler. She was in an affair.
Did not know that.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. If not mistaken, she later found out, I think that Steve Tyler is actually her father.
I don't know.
That's actually we're not gonna go into this tabloid TMZ stuff. That's just personal. I mean, there are. I
think any of us know the facts, so let's probably.
I mean, what is his name? Michael Bay. They had the romantic scene between her and Ben Affleck and Armageddon, and her dad's song is playing in the background. Do you remember?
Oh, that's weird. That's just.
It's actually the cookie scene with the animal cookie.
Let's very swiftly move on.
So we have some discussion about masturbation here as well.
Yeah, and then they go to their house to have sex, and then they hear her daughter coming. They hide in the bathroom, and she's like, "Oh, I'm taking a shower." She doesn't know that Maya is with him. She leaves and she remembers. Oh, that's right. That's where
starts walking down the stairs, then comes back in to do it. Yes. Flush the toilet.
This is the setup, and then she hears like a scream.
Screams.
That sounds like a woman. She pulls out. She sees him and Maya, and then she starts doing what Ben Affleck did with the boy. She's talking with them.
Replay again. Yeah, paying off the joke. A brilliant one. What are your intentions? Are you going to marry him?
Then she makes a deal with him, like, we'll do Sweeney Todd as a play, or else I'm going to tell Grandpa.
Yeah. And she gets to rent what she wants, including Dirty Dancing and the video store. Again, I'm not sure she's got the authority to say you can have free rentals forever. Like,
maybe I think
she gets quite a good deal out of this, Gertie does.
And then
unlimited movies from the video store.
And then Grandpa comes in with his friends and you see them in a towel. And then the first thing he asks him is like, "Usually had sex over my bed." That was one time with a high school girlfriend. Okay? It didn't happen again. And we see like they're talking about the pipes and the road, saying that they have to change it. And Mark, correct me
we haven't.
What's happening in the city council? But what's going on exactly there?
It's like a city council meeting for, again, like, to propose that the road, the road closure and all the rest of it together. It would just be like
to fix the pipes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So.
And the people are angry. Why?
Because the road will be closed for 3 days.
Yeah.
It's just group of Karens.
Yeah. And so Ben Affleck had to come out and talk them down because
it has a crap first one, and then you don't actually hear much of the second one. It cuts to music, doesn't it? Where he's then giving a convincing speech for them, and then reignites his
passion. It's like, you know what, I want to go back into PR. He gets in contact with Jason Briggs and he tells him like, I want to jump back
at Hard Rock Cafe where it all went down. He's like, I wondered why you picked this place.
Yes. And then he tells him, it's like, and then Jason Briggs wants to help him secure like a place in this agency. And then he tells him like, look, my job, because this part I didn't see it coming because you think he'll tell him no, and then he was like, then Ben Affleck will be like, oh come on, it's like, and then he's like, after I'm going to help you, but then he tells him like, let me finish, I am going to help you. Because you help me.
Because it's like I've been waiting to be in a position to be able to help you. I'm finally in it.
Yeah. So he ends up helping him. They're actually they're practicing the Sweeney Todd, him and his daughter, and then he gets the phone call. It's like, hey, we got the meeting. It's happening on Monday.
On Monday at 4:00, and
But then later he
5.
tells. It's happening. We know it's happening on Monday because later we find out why it's happening on Monday. He goes and he tells them, I'm going back. I'm getting a job in New York. We're leaving this place. And then just like, I don't want to leave this. Even Grandpa, Ben Affleck was like,
it goes there. It goes there quite hard at this point. Doesn't it? Like, what the?
This is actually the first time I hear a grandpa saying, no, I don't want you guys to leave. Because most of the time you would hear them saying, no, you guys leave. They want the house for their own, maybe they get a young woman to be with them.
and we get later at the end, you get the reason why.
Yeah, because it's happening the same day as her play. And it means that if he goes, he'll end up missing it. Then he gets in a fight with his daughter. And he tells him like,
And
"You
he's
guys,
just the
you ruined my
understudy.
life, everything your mom and everything. I want my life back." And then she goes back.
Yeah.
And he looks at him. It's like, why did you have to say this? And you see his grandpa mad at him.
And Liv's character leaves
Yeah, she leaves.
as well, which gets said later on.
And then he's surprised by that. Like, no.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
I'm
getting
out.
a fight. Of course, what do you think is gonna? If we will hear an argument, and then of course you
Yeah,
see him
another
like
bit
he's
there.
walking. He goes to montage. You see him walking, and then he goes to the mom's graves. Gertrude, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I would go jail. That's easier to say.
Yeah.
And then you get another scene outside the video store where she talks about it, and he's like, "Oh, I'm moving on, etc."
Yeah, I want to move back to
this
New
isn't
York.
anything.
But you do see
Yeah,
like she's in
she's-
love with him. She goes
But no,
back and
she
said,
plays it off as very cool, of like,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, I'll be moving on anyway, I'll
But
finish
you
my
see, like,
college
they
and
do
all the
still have
rest of it."
feeling
And
for
then
each other.
she goes into the porn
Yeah.
cupboard.
It's a good thing
Crying.
he had actually Kevin Smith made sure that the titles are not sure, as would have been a funny joke reading the titles. Right, Andy? You'll be like this. Okay, what's this movie says? Okay,
What's
what's
this? Oh, I've seen that one.
yeah. I wonder how the rights to use the porn covers are compared to the movie.
I imagine they've probably actually like made up or whatever.
Yeah, I bet they're not hard.
Or maybe
Yeah.
Kevin Smith and friends they created fake covers. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know what that again. That might then come into the ratings thing as well. If you actually got real porn,
Legitimate.
films
Yeah,
in
he probably
there.
got like text some of his friends. Do you want to be in my new movie? What do I need to do? You two just need to stand there.
And then we'll put
Wearing
we'll put
rubber.
a black bar on you and something
Yeah.
because these covers the most of the time they're censored actually because you want to see it you have to play it.
Yeah,
All right. Let me see what we're talking. Oh yes. So
so we get that
yeah,
scene.
and
don't
we see him with his daughter, and she tells us like she's okay with him going to New York, and then he goes to New York for the meeting, and then we see him come in, Will Smith, and he does not recognizes him because we
Well,
all
no, because he never met him.
yeah.
I'm assuming.
Maybe
'Cause
I
I'm
think he
assuming
knows
he
his
got
name
left
because
that-
later he ask him, "Are you Arthur?" Like, no, I'm not. I'm just a friend.
Yeah, he never tells
guy
him his
who's going
name.
to- yeah.
So I'm sure Will Smith knows his name, but I don't think they ever met then because he left before because Will was
was
late
late.
showing
Yeah.
up. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm not
I
sure.
was assuming like the secretary was going to come down and say, "Oh, whatever his last name, I can't remember his Ben
Yeah.
Affleck's last name." It's like so and so, and then Will would realize, and like there'd be a thing. Oh no, he left before that happened. But
No,
That's-
and again, he gives him the moral of the
Yeah, the
story
moral's
about
like-
spending the time playing in the dirt with his kids.
Basically, like the black guy who always helps the white guy, which is actual trope, if you know.
But again, Will Smith.
I mean, he did it in the legend with the Matt
having a
Damon
few-
movie, The Legend of Bagger Vance. He was playing a
having a
similar.
few
He was,
jokes at himself, etc. It was very sporting about the whole thing. I thought it was, and yeah,
and of course, we know that if he had known his, we would have give him what he gave Chris Rock. But I don't think he would because he didn't say anything insulting about his Jada, as far as I know.
no, yeah. So
Yeah.
when he said
I mean,
robot
Kevin-
movie, did that mean iRobot?
yeah. I'm assuming.
I didn't know that movie was that old.
That was a 2000 because I think that was a domestic iRobot because I know Shia LaBeouf was in it.
What?
I mean, iRobot's a good film. I just don't
2004.
like Shia LaBeouf.
What's wrong with Shia LaBeouf?
I think
mean,
this
He's
scene was
fantastic in Holes.
I think
and
this
if
scene
you've
was
seen,
actually is a reshoot because it came out in 2004. Maybe they were shooting at the same time. Maybe the film.
unless they knew about it and was like, yeah, let's just
Yeah.
advertise your new
Because-
movie.
well, and they call
Yeah,
it a
because
robot
this was supposed to
movie
come
as
out
well,
in
so
2003, the movie, but then because of the
Yeah.
Ben Affleck and J.Lo drum, they had to push it to 2004. So I think maybe that was a reshoot.
I always just said robot movie. Or again, I don't know whether
It's vague
again,
enough.
It may not
you
have been
could
a
probably.
direct reference to
Yeah.
anything, or
Or maybe
yeah.
because they mentioned, Independence Day, if not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
mentioned,
yeah.
yeah. Because that was the reason why he ended up, because he wanted to do his package for Independence Day and he wants his music and his move something separate. So he talks to him, he tells them about how he would rather be with his family and stuff. And then Ben Affleck is like, you know what, I'm going to be, and he tells him, do you recommend this place? Because I don't know this exact place, but I only he recommends him to Jason Briggs, the character. So basically, he did that. Even if this way, he won't get mad. It's like, hey, we got at least Will Smith, the biggest movie star.
Yeah, and again, I think, to be honest, he said it was a hard sell, so him turning it down was probably also in his favour. You know, if him going working there, it could have caused some issues. Yeah, they wouldn't have got Will Smith. I imagine.
But maybe right now they would have got him. Maybe right now they got him because they sat down with the guy. And then,
and you never.
And this is actually the Simpsons also. Where he asked, "Why did you name their daughter Gertie?" He's like,
I was like,
"Oh god."
I'm glad someone said it.
Yeah.
And Liv does the same when we first meet.
Yeah, because also the same reaction. I named it
it's like, shit.
Yeah,
sorry.
like,
crap. Why am I making jokes about? Oh.
I mean, look, this is actually known because we've done jokes like this, and we find out what's.
No, what I mean, but no, the characters in it are like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh bloody hell, she died. Oh Christ. Oh, I've
so
just made a joke about it. You know.
So we see him.
I think
there's nothing wrong with it. But again, they feel guilty.
Look,
That's why she's like, I need to
mistake.
repay my karma, or whatever. And there's a few jokes or whatever. So that's why she wants to take him out for lunch or whatever as well.
So what's it? So Affleck leaves, and then you see him like he's trying to reach the theater as everyone is playing cats.
And then as.
And apparently they didn't have the rights to cats, so they had to,
Well, yeah, you never see it. But before that, we see the New Jersey toll booths. Oh fuck! Yeah, again, I went out there in February 2001 and did like New York or whatever. Had a ridiculous thing, blew a tire. Or basically, we were late for the airport. So the way the toll roads work in New York State is like the French ones or whatever. You take a ticket when you come on, and you pay for the thing as you
come back.
When you come off, and you pay for the, they calculate it and work the difference. The way the toll booths work in New Jersey is so often you have to throw money into. There's like, periodically along the freeway, you have to throw money into the thing, so you keep on having to come up. So we were late on a spare tire, and then just hitting all these toll booths. Again, really bizarre way of doing it.
So is it like? Could it be it will drop it like every 10 minutes?
Yeah, or however many miles, and then there's just another toll booth, and you have to throw money in.
So could a random person drive all the way through and hit not a single toll booth?
No, because they'll be in between exits.
Right, okay, so because you were saying it was random, I thought you was like they just happen to drop now and then, and everyone has to eventually pay.
No, I assume it's X distance between them or whatever or thing. Yeah. So and then you pay that amount, but it's really annoying because you go through like 8 of them.
You have to keep stopping and dropping.
You have to keep stopping and dropping, especially when you're on the way to the airport. Mostly US currency. So I think we had to get change at one of them to be able to do it. But yeah, I thought that was a little. Again, he's a New Jersey resident, but I thought that was a little one that I even got the reference of him driving through, throwing the money in. When you're in a rush, it's a pain.
Didn't you do something similar in Men in Black, the first Men in Black movie? When he and Tommy Jones they're driving in the tunnel, they go to a toll booth. I think he does.
He does, yeah. You see him flick a thing back, yeah.
Yeah.
So we see him rushing to go to the play. Everyone is playing cats, and with the exception of them, they're playing Swing.
I know. And what harm could doing 3 days to tear up the street to put the pipes in? Cue Ben Affleck pulling in, going, shit, on his way off.
Running
toll booths, and then he starts running to it.
And he reaches in the nick of time. He plays it.
But then we start, obviously this is intercut as he's travelling with going with the, what is it? It's called full parent student something or the other. Well, it's not a play, is it? Whatever it is.
And they do like
showcase, I think was the word for it.
Well,
and you've got the teacher coming out and going, and they're singing memories from cats. Okay. And then and just progressively.
Like, thank God when she sees Sweeney Todd, thank God.
Memories from cats. And you see him come out, you see him about to open their mouth, the music starts.
It's the same song, Memory.
We're not paying for the licensing of anything from cats. We're not paying Android Weather because that's going to cost us a bloody fortune.
Because, now, what was the song from Sweeney Todd? They sing God, what was it?
God, that's good.
Yes.
And so then, so you get all of this as he's going, and he runs through it, and then it's like she's introducing it. Gertie comes out and like, oh no, it's going to be my granddad, not my dad.
Okay.
And Craig's the teacher is like, balls on you, like coming out and going, oh, you know, for a Catholic school, etc. You know. And then what I assume is a hymn. God, that's good. It's like they come out and they're doing a very good accent. They're singing.
Yeah.
And,
because the daughter, I know she's singing in real life, like we mentioned, and was that Liv Tyler's singing voice, or was that a dubbed over?
No, I think that was her singing.
The second half sounded like her. The beginning, I was like, is that her?
She's
her accent has come through towards the end.
She's putting, you know, she's probably actually rather unauthentic. The fact that she was really good at it, you know, it's just more lived up than the character.
I mean, maybe she got British from Lord of the Ring.
Yeah. You see the set, which looks really cool, but. And one of the earliest scenes where they're talking about the thing, they're building it at their work, and they've obviously got welding tools. You know, this is what they do.
And he's like, "Why did you?" And also, that part was funny. George Carlin, he's like, his granddaughter was like, "Why did you pick Sweeney Todd?" Because I saw him and Maya naked in the shower. Good.
That explains it. Yeah.
Man, he's great in this film, George Carlin.
I mean, George Carlin's great in pretty much everything, I think. You know,
even the animated Tarzan 2 movie, but I saw. I mean, it's not okay, but he was good in it.
Hey, if it gets me a couple 100 miles across the country, I'll take a shot in the mouth.
That's from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Was he in that movie too?
Yeah. That's where kind of, again, Kevin was always a huge fan of his stand-up, and there was the only like. He grew up in a very Catholic household or whatever. That was like the only records with swearing or anything that was in the house, etc. But was George Carlin, and you know, his dad loved them, so you know that was something between them. Obviously, poignant coming up towards at the end with that.
We see that play Ben Affleck.
He got him in. He got him in Strike Back, and then obviously they became friends, and Carlin was always up for acting and really like work again. Really loves like working with Kevin Smith, etc. Because again, you got decent parts or whatever, and especially like with Jersey Girl, he was really appreciative of that because he had never really got a proper film, you know, more than cameos or
a comedy is like.
Yeah, he actually got to do some acting.
Yep.
Which I think he always wanted to be an actor. Again, I need to watch that Judd Apatow documentary. Yeah. That's meant to be fantastic. Kevin's also in it.
Mm-hmm. So we see Ben comes in, and in his last minute he's like, "Hey, let's just swap packages." And we see him like perform the song, and then they ended up with him killing his dad on stage, and then the teacher printed
and the lights, and then you just cut to a shot of the audience
clapping. Everyone start clapping.
Yeah, it's like the teacher's just like, oh, what? But everyone's like, thank God it wasn't Memories by Cat.
Maybe that's why they were clapping, because it was something different.
How painful that must have been. Because Memories is quite a difficult song as well, isn't it? Got quite a bit of key changes and stuff like that.
I mean, my knowledge is Kevin and Gary Witter. That's singing that.
Yeah, but... Well, no, that's what it's going to be
we'll
like.
We'll find out how
just
singing Memories when you do Cats on the show.
And their parents singing bloody Cats. It was probably not going to be... I'm sure there were a couple of good people in there, but I'm sure
not everyone's going to be what... Was it Jennifer Hudson who was in the new Cats? What's her name? Because I was mistaken.
There was Judi Dench, Taylor Swift, James Corden.
Idris Elba.
She was in... was it Dreamgirl?
Not Lindsay Lohan?
No, not Lindsay Lohan. What's her name? Jennifer Hudson. Yeah, that's her name. She was the one singing Memories in that film.
And you've got to admit, that was a bloody good number that they did there. All of them. Like I thought, if you were at a school event, that was
for a school event.
Production value comes down the slide in the oven.
And then everyone's like, and even cut to make the like how in the stage, because when he stabs and he turns red, that's the stage, because that's how it was when he saw it.
Yeah, all the lights turn red, and
it's very good. I thought.
Yeah, so the see one quiet and one of them starts clapping, and then celebration. You see them in the bar. That's I think the same bar where where the dad says, he takes J-Lo
So
with
then
him.
you go to the you go see the bar. She comes out of the
bathroom,
gents' toilets, going whatever, and that's apparently where J-Lo taught Gertie, Raquel, how to dance.
Yeah.
I got taught to dance by J-Lo. Like from the interviews I've seen with her, like as a little kid, how fucking bizarre is that? She apparently spent the whole time telling off George Carlin and Ben Affleck for swearing and smoking.
But he smokes in a hospital beginning of this movie, which
threw
me right off.
Again, this was US. This is 2001.
Yeah, but nobody cared. Everyone would smoke. I mean, they used to smoke cigarettes whenever a child is born. That's
No, cigars. That's
I mean cigars. I don't want to say cigarette. I want to say cigar. Thanks for the correction, Mark. So,
no worries, yeah.
So we see, and then he goes on to dance with her and tells her, go talk to Grandpa. It's a bit sad. And then he's like, doesn't he tell Ben that he's happy that he's not leaving?
Yeah, he tells him he's happy he's not leaving. He's like, well, I thought you'd want to, have your own space back. And it's like, well, but I'm more worried about dying alone. Because obviously
maybe that's why
he lost. And it also established earlier on, he lost his wife as well. But that was like, I think they said 20 years or something like that. Like you had a lot longer. This I didn't, was robbed. And then obviously a really kind of, again, real, emotional kind of scene where he's also not heavy-handedly played it very well, I thought. Kind of hits there with both of them. And George Carlin, not going for the overreaction or the crying or whatever, but they're nearly there, which is
sort of the stern, like, dad you never see upset, but he cares.
Yeah.
Sort of thing, yeah.
And there's a couple of brilliant lines from the mates as well, isn't there? They're just dunking on the one. It's like, yeah, you don't understand anything. It's like just like several things go over his head or whatever, and it's like, oh, nice little thing there. And then they're dancing, and
then when she goes on, it's like, I want to dance with my dad. And you see him, they dance together, and I remember what was the dialogue between her and dad at the end.
Basically saying that there's a reason to stay now or something. It's establishing that they're going to get together.
Yeah.
Don't think he's ever had sex with her in this film.
He almost did.
Because he almost did, but he didn't. So they were in this weird friendish,
They were still in the friend zone. Now I think they're about to take it seriously. From the sound of it,
I think that's what they kind of established at the end. And again, don't then show you any more than that, or like we don't have to have the flash forwards of all of the It's just established of that's where we're going. You don't know what's going to happen with it, but it's more the fact that he's come to the realization that staying in Jersey with Gert, he's happy where he is, etc. Doesn't need to, that's what's best for Gertie as well. She's in a school with all her friends. Everything else, him there with his dad. So he doesn't, and riding the, doing the works and stuff. And then
that was it. Like
credits dedicated to Kevin Smith's father, who did see the film but didn't see the release of the film.
Because it was in 2013, right? He died?
Yeah, he died in between, the making and
the film came out in 2014.
Kevin said he never actually got him on film. His mum's in quite a few things, and that's one of his biggest regrets. His sister's in a load of stuff, and his brother. His sister's... no, I can't. Again, that would spoil Chasing Amy and Reboot as well. Plays a character that's fairly important.
And apparently, the girl from Chasing Amy, I read about it. He originally wanted her to play the mom, Gertie, before he went with J-Lo, because he said it would look very close, like Chasing Amy, and he's like, now go with different actress.
Yeah. No, I don't. But there, I thought.
Yeah.
Again,
this is actually
a good story, nice plot through, actually some great jokes.
It's a hard
fun time,
good fun.
Yeah.
I think It is one
with a couple of punches that you're not expecting as well, with like the mum dying and
especially who they
all the
cast to
rest
play
of it.
the mom, because at that time she was one of the biggest star in the world, and you're like, wow, they quickly killed her, and they also caught people by surprise because she was, like you said, they were hiding her from the marketing. Not a lot of people knew that she was in the film.
No, she was definitely, the trailer for it was actually quite heavy. He's basically pretty much just the snippet of her with the talking about the two lives. So it does actually feature a fair bit of J-Lo in it. And it was certainly one of the trailers that I've watched for it, which is kind of, because again, it just gives you kind of the story bit, which is actually kind of practically just a scene then with some other imagery throughout the film added. But I think, but obviously they didn't have her on the press tour and all the rest of it. It's, rather flash-esque, if you like, now kind of thing of like, how the hell would you promote that? You can't send them out on the press junket because it's just going to be so awkward.
That was the only thing I heard about behind the scenes.
Aren't going to be about the film; they're going to be about this. But then get through, and again, it's a good story, and again, it's.
So I think we should start by giving final.
She's good as well. J-Lo was her acting and stuff was all good in it as well.
The acting was good. I mean, I'm thinking there was no stand up. I mean, but they were good. I mean, it was not a disaster acting. But they were good. Each one was giving their all. This was not, perfect. I mean, I've seen the actors and they do a bad job in other roles, but I mean, it was not like no one is phoning it in. It's like everyone's like he's scared, like he was actually scared. He was on his job.
And it wasn't a slapstick comedy kind of thing either, where it was over the top or anything. It was all quite grounded and real performances. As I say, there's some really standout moments. When Ben Affleck and Gertie are fighting, some real, some great acting there as well. George Carlin's got some great things, the mates, and they've got some really quirky and quite cool little kind of character, and I think it's all Affleck doing Affleck. Jason Biggs is good again. I thoroughly enjoy it. As I say, I think the only reason it's kind of has got a reputation of not being the kind of the best thing. Kevin Smith did use it as a punching bag until he replaced it with yoga hoses as his worst received film. But again, I think it was just expectations. If you put it out there and you didn't know, it was a Kevin Smith film or whatever, you just think it was a good rom-com with some good actors in.
Yeah.
But I think that was the problem. No, they weren't. Kevin Smith's audience wasn't looking for a romantic comedy. They wanted more slacker movies with Jay and Silent Bob in and all the rest of it. But I thoroughly enjoy it. And he did Chasing Amy as well before. So
did the KF crew review the Jersey Girl?
No, Jersey Girl isn't in viewer askew.
Have they talked about
in the universe?
Has Greg or Kevin or Nick seen it or all?
I think. I'm sure Greg has and Kevin have. Again, I
know Kevin's feeling on the reboot. I remember him.
Don't even go there. It's just.
Was he the only one?
I don't know. I really don't know how he came to that conclusion. Because again, he is a massive Kevin Smith fan. Reboot is just a love letter to Kevin Smith.
Because I have not seen the in review.
I can't remember. I don't think he particularly liked Harley and Jason, which they deliver great performances to, which kind of is the heart of it. I don't know. I can't really remember what Kevin's was. I just remember it being idiotic, but because it's a fantastic movie. I say favourite movie. I don't say best. I say my favourite movie, but I think it out Endgame as well.
Yeah.
For a culmination, and again,
I'm just looking at Andy's reaction.
Again, you wouldn't have. I don't think you'd have you certainly wouldn't have the MCU as it is without Kevin Smith. You probably wouldn't have had the Stan Lee cameos, which were introduced in Mallrats. He had Stan Lee, and that's where the Stan Lee cameo came. First started happening. So he introduced that, and actually Kevin Smith's films were some of the first and longest running kind of multiverse / like connected universe films, where they've got characters that go through all the different films and stuff. It's kind of very similar, what then became kind of the MCU formula of having characters then coming through, throughout, and having, pulling characters from other films to then cameo in the other ones for doing this, that, and the other. But
yeah.
Again, I think I've always thoroughly enjoyed Jersey Girl.
So you give it a redeemable score, right?
Pardon? Redeemable. Yeah, there is nothing. There is, you can't really have many. There's no real gripes about this film or anything bad about this film. I think to put it in there, you may have some whatever. I know Andy said he's got a couple of things that he wants to say about it, but
I like how Yaz is smirking because he's just waiting. I think he's certainly waiting for shit on it.
Yeah.
No, I'm just laughing because
I think it is a thoroughly good romantic comedy.
I'm smirking because the way if you go to our listening, I'm looking at Andy's behind him, Nathan Fillion, and he's wearing the jacket. He looks like what was it?
Andy, also
one of the Muppets.
That doesn't. I should have said that doesn't look good, mate. It just makes that jacket look really big.
It is really. I'm a large person.
Yeah,
I'm aware. I'm in fact so large.
It's drowning, Nathan.
The jacket doesn't really fit me. It's a little bit too small now because of lockdown.
We should start exercising now.
Yeah.
I have been,
I said we, not you.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm part of the we.
Yeah.
The jacket has to be here somewhere. I'm wearing that till we do Star Wars, and then I'm not wearing it for Star Wars. But it's really, really hot today, so I can't wear the jacket.
Yeah.
And it's quite a warm jacket, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, okay. That's my thoughts. Yeah. Great film.
And do you want to talk about your thoughts and your rating?
As I said at the beginning, I wanted to not like this movie. It's the first time I've watched this film. There's, some of the other films I've seen before, but I've seen all the other Kevin Smith films, or all the View ones, Cop Out, annoyingly Tusk, which I've seen most of his work. Because I've odds and bits I haven't seen all the documentaries and interviews Mark has seen, because he's like his online husband. So.
I just thoroughly enjoy Kevin.
I know, I'm taking the piss, but this was better than I was expecting it to be. I'll get the gripes out of the way just because I'm a very negative person, so I like to shit on things. I think Ben Affleck is the weakest thing in this movie, which is surprising. I think he does anger and sort of when he's really angry what happens, when he tries to go back to work after J-Lo dies, I think he does it really well of trying to focus on his work and distract him. But when he's upset, like when he's talking to his daughter, when he loses his job, I didn't buy his sadness. I think he was trying to fake cry, and it didn't quite. I'm not saying it was a bad performance. Everyone else are 8s and 9s. He's a 7, so it's close. He's the only one I can really find fault with, because Liv Tyler's great in this. J-Lo's surprisingly good. The daughter's amazing. George Carlin's great. Everyone else is top performers. Yeah. And the other thing is. It worried me a little bit. Well, not worried me, but when you said there's the director's cut with all the extra stuff, normally that would be fine. But the extra stuff I want is more Liv Tyler, because I feel like we don't. It isn't, but it feels like we don't make it till halfway through the film.
What I'm hearing, the extra stuff is mostly him and Ben Affleck and J-Lo, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what the runtime was. So I think there was about half an hour of that. So there would have probably been, again, if it's 3 hours, I imagine there was
one of the
in there as well.
Scene, like you mentioned, is the wedding, right?
Yeah. But I imagine there were other scenes in there as well from the latter, if it was going up to 3 hours. Because I think they said kind of there was 30 minutes of the J-Lo stuff. So that still would only bring you up to 2 hours, wouldn't it? So, you would have had to have had more. Again, Kevin tends to... he brags about cutting minutes out of Clerks. I'm like, no, stop it. I've got it down.
I don't know if it's
another 2 minutes gone. It's
I've read, I think he was working on a director's cut, but then he didn't fill through. I think they didn't move forward with it for Jersey.
It was shown at Vulgathon, or whatever it's called, film festival that he did for a few years with his mates and stuff. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, it never came. And obviously, he's probably not going to put anything out of that anyway.
It also depends on who owns
all of
the
the
film
proceeds. Yeah, all of the proceeds to this film and all of the other films produced by Miramax go to a Women in Hollywood charity. For everything that Kevin makes on these films now is donated to a respectable charity for I can't remember, it's Women in Hollywood, etc.
Sexual harassment.
Well, no, it's more like supporting women in Hollywood again. I think as opposed to necessarily 100% about sexual harassment. I think it's a lot more about support and getting them opportunities and training and things like that. Because obviously, again, I also don't think he's particularly there would be any real impetus that you'd want to then put out a director's cut of this now, because again of where the money goes. So unfortunately.
Yeah. So Andy, what was your score?
So yeah, it's I hate to say this, and it had nothing to do with Mark threatening me before about this and saying if I say it's unredeemable, he's going to track me down. He knows where I live because he has my address. He will find me and kill me. But
I didn't say that. I said we would have a falling out over it. Was the threat that our friendship might end?
And no, even for a joke, I can't do that. This film is sadly redeemable. It's because it's really close to, isn't it? Like it's a 50 something on Rotten Tomatoes. It's 50 something.
It's in the middle, 40, 45, 50, something like this.
I was
in the middle.
It's like I said, I've got a couple of issues with it, but it seems it's so close to just that. It will be low on the redeemable list, but it would be like 60s, maybe 70s. Like it's enjoy. I mean, it's not a film I've watched.
It's a 7 or 6. That's what I would give the film if I had to reviewed. It's a 7 or. I would give it a 7
8 or a 9. It's an 8 or a 9. But yeah,
7.5.
We'll give you 7.5.
But yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's a good film.
I think you could go there. So, whatever, I'd say it's better than Yoga Hoses. I'd even know. So.
And most importantly,
it's way more accessible, etc. Kind of thing.
If this was on telly, this is easier to get my parents to watch. Out of any Kevin's films, really, this is like a
the part where the kids are showing each other the private part.
I mean, my mum used to be a sexual health doctor, so yeah, she did that for a living. she's fine with that.
Yeah.
And again, that's done in a very innocent, they're of that age. And
I'm pretty sure there are kids who might act like this.
It's called Playing Doctor, isn't it? Or whatever. It's referenced in lots of
I don't know. I've never known other people. I never had friends to show bits to.
No.
Dan, that's what happens on Zoom After Dark, if everyone didn't know that. Me and Mark show everyone our bits.
No, we do not. I hasten to add, the Zoom has a 0 nudity clause on it. There is no nudity to
we only see like
we have an open bathroom door policy when the Zoom call, right?
No.
That's where Mark goes when he goes off camera. He's going, hang on, actually, yes, you did once. We heard this.
Yeah, he fell asleep. The last Zoom call, he fell asleep, and I ended up showing Joe a nightmare. Man, it broke him.
Yeah.
Marcus
dozed off slightly. Hey, it was 12 hours, and it started at like 7 o'clock at night.
It was also the anniversary stream, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've unfortunately had to speak to Mark often for 2 years now.
Yeah.
God above. Where did my life go wrong?
Next week. See
and I actually began recently talking with him.
Awesome.
I think I give it my score, my thoughts. So I actually did like this film. In fact, out of all the Kevin Smith movies I've seen, I think this is currently my favorite, because keep in mind I haven't seen all of his movies.
What have you seen?
The terrible ones. Yoga Houses and what's the Cop Out. That's saying a lot compared to this one. I don't think will be better.
Yeah, I mean, Chasing Amy, Dogma, Clerks, etc. James Silent Robbery.
I mean, I can watch Dogma for free. Like you said, Kevin Smith is on YouTube. You can watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd recommend Dogma. I think is my favorite of his, so you should watch that.
I think people
And
say
it has Chris
Chasing
Rock in
Amy is his favorite. Like from people I hear.
Yeah, that hasn't aged quite as well as.
What are your guys' favorite Kevin Smith film?
Well, Mark's obviously reboot because he's very.
It used to be Chasing Amy, but it's then reboot.
What about you, Andy?
I'd have to go with Dogma or Clerks 2.
Okay.
I think Clerks 2 has the funnier moments, but I think Dogma's a better movie overall.
You just like that for the donkey show, don't you?
He's doing it for the Jesus because I'm desperate.
And all the Lord of the Rings jokes.
No, I think it's because there's a scene in Clerks 2 that basically happened to me in real life, and it's just the worst thing in the world.
I don't want to.
I'm sure I've told you this. What does Randall put on the back of his shirt? Because he doesn't understand. I didn't say that thing, but I did a similar thing where I didn't know it was that, and I felt everyone was fucking with me, and I was like, "There's no way that's a thing." And I googled it like the next day. I was like, "Oh shit, no, that's a real thing." Oops.
Oh, I shouldn't have been saying that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What, did you actually wear it?
No, I didn't actually. No. It was just in work one day. Someone was doing.
Oh, you taught it again. I was like, "What? You actually got a T-shirt printed on with it?"
No, I didn't know.
No.
No, it's just when that was just to get what I'm talking about. But that bit when he's refusing that it is a thing.
I thought you were going to say you got the burger with slice. Burger with slice. Cool. So you enjoyed it, yes.
Yeah. Yes, I enjoyed it. Like it. It's a redeemable.
It's redeemable.
Yes.
It's a unanimously redeemed or whatever. What do you say? Yay! Again.
And I forgot to tell Andy, Kaya and I, we give a redeemable score to Street Fighter.
I hate you both. I fucking hate you all. Just, and you know what? I'm glad Kai got COVID now because fucking hell.
I'll tell them.
But what did it do to it? That clearly messed with his brain because. Oh, fuck me.
Mostly because you didn't saw the second movie, right, Chanli?
I have seen it, but it would have been years ago.
Because we've seen it, and we've seen worse than that. This one, it makes the first one looks like Citizen Kane. That's why we give it a better score.
That's not how that works. I'd rather be punched in the face than kicked in the nuts. It doesn't mean being punched in the face is fun.
Also, I gave it I gave it a good score because of Raul Julia. That's why he's the guy who played Bison.
I was hoping this would be the first unanimous redeemable because this film does kind of deserve that.
Street Fighter got unanimously redeemable.
Yes, from me and the Kai.
Oh, there's only two of you. First one with three.
No, the first three I think was the Man of Steel.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, Man of Steel.
Okay.
I mean,
again, most of the backlash around this film, as I say, was
mostly the behind the scenes.
It was. Oh, this wasn't what the Kevin Smith film we were expecting, and Ben Affleck and the J-Lo stuff. So that's why it kind of didn't review as well, etc. But again, I think it is a quality for a good film. It's got good acting. It's got some really funny moments, some poignancy, etc. It's decent plot, payoffs, all the rest of it.
A lot of callbacks. The callback jokes are always good.
Yeah, and they always get paid off. Yeah.
All right. I think that was it for today's episode. Thanks, guys, for watching. And Mark, where can people find you?
At the Indie Boy 1 on Twitter, and I run it's now monthly community Zoom. The next one will be I don't know if this will be out by then.
Follow him at the Indie Boy on Twitter.
Yeah, and you'll be able to see it. Yeah,
he'll update when the next Zoom call. How about you, Andy? Are you still playing, Sea of Thieves with the new update?
I am indeed. Very looking forward to Captaincy. I am on Twitch at AndyMac9995. If any of you are friends with Mark and you wish to play Sea of Thieves, let me know because I'm always happy to torture people. But I can also be found in Mark Zooms doing very inappropriate things. Usually at work. You named
your ship the Booty Call?
I'm sorry, what?
Your ship, then Sea of Thieves. Are you going to name it the Booty Call?
Oh, what is going to call the ship?
If it will let me, I want to call it the Forbidden Pleasure.
Maybe it's like bigger, uncut.
If it doesn't, Forbidden Treasure.
Yeah, bigger, longer, uncut. Yeah.
I'm just going for an anal joke.
I think you're allowed to say the word booty because I think I saw they were sharing a Sea of Thieves like the account. You can say the word booty.
That's the. I don't know if you. Just completely off tangent, but Mark, did you see the trailer for that? The new
with boating McBoatface or whatever.
Which I don't think Yaz will understand. That's the most English joke in the world. A couple of years ago, they were doing a new ship, and they let the people in England. Yeah, it was an explorer ship, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, a new naval ship.
Yeah, a new naval ship.
Large naval ship.
Yeah, they let the people of England vote on it. So you go online and vote. And the top
That's
vote
the wrong thing.
It was Boaty McBoatface.
Because it just got a Twitter thing and then everyone was just voting.
At least it was not Biggest Diggers.
They didn't give it. They named something on it.
It's David Attenborough. Yeah, like the lifeboat or like the in-boat submarine is called Boaty McBoatface. But it's like as a nation, we're so dumb.
We can't have a naval ship called that.
We should have gotten the cave code named the Milk Mommy.
Yeah, I don't think we could have swung that. And again, you weren't swinging against Boaty McBoatface. Everyone was just like, yes, let's call it. This is funny as all hell. So he got quite a bigger following.
This reminds me of like a show I was watching on Twitch from Double Toast called Weekly Roast and Toast. Well, every week they would review a bad movie. One of the movies that was in the poll was a movie called Surf Ninja, and it had Leslie Nielsen. And like one of the people saw the pictures, like, is that Leslie Nielsen in a robot makeup? No, you guys, we can. Why he said, I don't want this. I don't want Leslie Nielsen bad movie because you know how
Leslie Nielsen has never done a bad movie. Every Leslie Nielsen movie is brilliant.
No, at the moment he said that, it was like you just gave now a reason for the chat to vote for this movie. When he did the vote unanimously, Surf Ninja for.
Oh yeah, I also probably shout out something if you don't mind, Jazz. You can also catch me talking of Kevin Smith, interviewing Josh Roush on Simply Sassy very soon. Probably by the time this video comes out, that'll be out. Who does Kevin Smith's documentaries about the making of the films, and also is making documentary about Michael Parks in similar, and very interesting person. We had a fun time chatting to him.
Do you know who if I get the chance, I want to interview? Anyone who worked on the movie Life Force or any of the bad movies that I've seen.
Again, just find some of them. I'm sure, like, lots of these people have made these films and are proud of them all. Like, probably don't get reached out that often to talk about these films.
I mean, like a movie,
again, like Josh Rouse was like, oh, great, no one really, obviously. Was like no one ever else. He's kind of a behind-the-scenes guy, but they're really fascinating.
You guys saw what I actually planned for my. This actually a housekeeping I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show. I'm doing a YouTube goal that if my YouTube channel reaches 1 million subscribers, I'm going to review a movie with Joe and Andy can be in it. It's called The Adventure of Acela. I don't know if you guys seen that bad animated film, the Turkish film.
So how many subs did you say?
1 million subs, because that's the subs that Joe agreed on. He said, I'll do it for you for 1 million subs.
This wasn't the Nathan one, was it? Or was this the other one?
No, that's a Turkish film. It's called The Adventure of Acela.
Right, okay.
I'm going to show it to you later.
I think we're probably,
I feel like we should name
a little bit of a high goal there, Yaz. No offense, but that's considerably more than
if I want to make Joe and anyone else suffer seeing this film, it has to be worth it. It has to be make 1 million people.
If we got
I might have gone for 100,000 or whatever. Yeah, you could have maybe,
Now for 100,000, I might do something special else, because I already said from 100 episode I'm doing Battlefield Earth.
Is that just 100?
Yeah, 100 episode.
Okay, sorry. I meant like 100. 100 subscribers seems doable, like relatively easy, quickly-ish. So, have we got anything for that?
Because you haven't seen the trailer, right, for Adventure of Acela with the green alien?
Yes. Now you said so many. I'm trying to remember which one you meant.
I'll show you. I'm going out of future memory.
Oh, please don't.
Because Mark was sleeping when I showed to.
Please don't. We're gonna get.
No. I was keeping my eye closed on purpose then, Yaz. So I didn't have to watch it.
No, because I was gonna say we're getting demonetized for saying cunts. You're definitely gonna get demonetized for showing a trailer for a different movie.
No, because what was it? Mark was sleeping, and when he woke up, Joe looked horrified, like he saw something scary. And he was describing to him, it's like he finally broke me out of all the stuff he showed to me.
Yeah, again,
And keep him,
I know better than clicking the links that Yaz sends because I don't want to mess up my YouTube algorithm.
All right.
So all of you people watching this, follow Mr. Yazman on Twitter. You get all the fun.
Yeah. So, like I said, 1 million subscribers on my YouTube channel, and we'll get to review the Adventure of Achela. And follow me on YouTube at MrYazMan300. For some reason, Twitter decided to suspend my old account. And my YouTube channel, MrYazMan300 Production. And you can find this podcast on any services, but most you can find it easily on Apple and Spotify. So thanks, guys, for listening and watching, and hope everyone has a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Toodles.